Hello and welcome. I'm continuing my series on Introduction to Financial Modeling through the medium of the ModelOff World Financial Modeling Championships questions. This is a question from round 2 of 2014, and it's a topic that often inspired dread for many, which is model audit. I usually take a little bit of a look at the at the question before I start recording the video, just so I don't, waste time faffing around with things. But since the whole idea of this one is to find the mistakes, I thought previewing it would be a bit of a spoiler. So I'm looking at this fresh right now. I remember that there were a few different model audit questions over the years in ModelOff. Some of them were very difficult, and some of them were not so bad. I don't remember which kind this was, but let's take a look. So just a bit of general background chit chat. Someone built a model. They made some notes on where it's gone wrong. This is important. You have to complete the questions in sequence. So in other words, if you fix the first few things and answer the question, and then fix some more things later, it might change the answer to one of the questions you've already answered. So you just have to answer it as you go along. Don't insert any rows or columns to fix errors in the model. If you do insert rows or columns, the cell references will no longer line up to the model. Fine, makes sense. So it tells you where something is wrong. All right. So question 25, which is, I guess, question 1, because this was the third section. Something isn't working in the volume summary by type. Calculations, rows 6 to 20. So let's come over here, get rid of that. Come over here, calculations, up at the top, rows 6 to 20. So something is not working here. All right, so let's take a look. First thing I'm going to do is just Control G, Alt S, go to Special. I'm going to look for row differences and column differences because basically a block of cells like this, it's just pointing to inputs F37. It's just pointing to this block. So it should be the same formula in every cell, and when there's no row differences or column differences, that is the case. So let's see. The sum checks out, and you can press Control backslash. It also gives you row differences. So that's just checking there's no row differences there. That formula is correct. It's not locked, so that's all working. So high value. Okay, so here's the bug. You need to lock this and haven't locked it. So presumably this formula is copied down. Yes, and it's missing. So let's fix that. So we just put dollars on the 8 and 15 on the row numbers, and then this should copy down properly, and then fill it across. Okay, so then the question we need to answer is, what is the total volume of millions of units across the 15-year period for low value widgets? And I guess let me just put in a Q&A tab. So we can do this. Q&A, and how many questions do we have? 25 to 235. Okay. So sequence 11 starting from 25. So link and hard code, just so I can fix it later. Okay, so now we're interested in low volume in the base case. 4829 places 0.07. That's A. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Next one. The scenario selector doesn't seem to be working properly. Calculations 22 to 33. So from here to here, something is not working. So that's just pulling straight from E57. Fine. So just see what these are. Okay, so we've got base scenario, high, mid, and low. Growth scenario, high, mid, and low. So it makes sense that these are not locked because there's a block of assumptions in each place. Ah, hang on. So let's just see quickly. Okay, 60, 65. Oh, sorry, I'm not in the first year. Okay, so we're pulling 180, which is the growth number. We should be pulling the base number, this is not matching. So let's do a quick Alt-TUF. And you can see it says base, matching base, but it's false. And if you look carefully, you'll see that's because there is a space here. So we got to get rid of that space. Actually, before I get rid of the space, let me just see, are there any row differences or column differences before I fill the formula everywhere? There are not. So let's fill that in. Sorry, get rid of the space and fill it in. And then that seems fine. That seems fine. No difference there. Okay, so I think that's the only thing to fix. So what's the question? Total revenue in the year ending June 23 under the base scenario, which is this one here. All right, let's give the decimal places we need first, and then we'll value number format. So 560.28, which is B. Okay, moving on. Our total expenses look okay in year one, but seem to be overstated further on. Calculations 52 to 65. 52 to 65. Okay, so there's a few different places it could have gone wrong. Let's figure out what's happening. So inputs E75 here. So we've got $14 per unit. And that presumably is inflating with something. Inputs F28. So again, first thing I'm just going to check if there's changing formulas as we go across in any of these, and there are not. So that's one issue ruled out. Inputs F28. What's that? That's the CPI. Fine. And pointing at F, which is the right column, so that's good. That's overhead expense per unit. Sales expense. That multiplied by your total volume, which seems reasonable. Dollars per unit. You have millions of units, get millions of dollars. Yep, seems fair. Okay, marketing cost as a percent of sales. Inputs F76, that's here. Good. Pulling from F, so that's fine. And you can see, because we've checked for differences across the row, I only have to audit one column now, so that makes it much simpler. Sales 51, yes. Marketing expense, that times that, all seems fair. Okay, so spot it right away. This is locked on the column. So that's pointing to the inflation assumption here. So it's, in other words, it's inflating 4% every year, but it should be coming down to 3% in later years. So there we go. Fix that, copy across. And then what's the question? Total figure for expenses in the year ending June 25, which is over here. And I guess yes, we're going 2 decimal places again. Let's just copy the format down because that'll probably keep happening. And then, where are we? Sorry, 517.37, so that's C. Okay, our working capital requirements don't seem correct. 71 to 89. 71 to 89. Okay. So again, first thing I'm going to do, are there any differences as we go across? Nope. All right. So this is pointing to sales. Let's just see that it is actually, yes, that is picking up sales, fine. Cost of sales, yes, that's picking up the right thing. Cost of sales, total expenses. Yes. Okay. Days payable. So let's see. That's pointing to 80, 81, and 82, and none of them are locked in the column, so we should have a sequence of assumptions in 80, 81, and 82, and we do. Fine. So this times this. Okay, so we've got the days in the year. Happy days. That seems to be calculating correctly. So it's this times that over that, about 10%, looks right. This times that over that, looks right. So I'm guessing maybe it's a sign issue. Net working capital. Oh, no, it's not anything as sophisticated as a sign issue. It's just you're pointing at completely the wrong cell. So let's drag that up. And then let's just check we are doing the signs right. assets. Yeah, okay, so we've actually got two mistakes here, I think. So first, we need to drag that up to reference the right place, and second, the sign on that, I think, also needs to be different. So it should be adding these two and subtracting this one. So copy that across, and then what's the question? Change in net working capital in the year ending June 19, which is here. Sorry, the change is here. 68.79. Yes, hooray. And that's E. Good. I was afraid we were going to get D there. Then I was going to get really paranoid that something strange was going on. Okay. Accounting specialist thinks our year 15 closing net book value from an accounting perspective is understated. Error in rows 91 to 120. All right. So let's go. 91 to 120. All right. So it's almost certainly something in this depreciation forecast, but let's check. So opening accounting book value is pulling from row 120. Fine, seems appropriate. And then we do all the changes in the middle and get wherever we get. Okay. So sorry, again, first thing I'm going to do is just no row differences, so I can just audit the first column. That's good. And by the way, that's one reason why I always emphasize kind of building a model with the same formula across is auditability. It makes it just much easier. Okay, so one-off capex is pulling from F86, which seems appropriate. Regular capex pulling from F87 seems appropriate. Summing them seems appropriate. Inputs E90. Yes, so we're doing accounting. 7-year straight line. Okay, so almost certainly this is where it's going to go wrong. So let's just see. Okay, yep, so it looks like it's just depreciating it every year forever. So that's not good. We're only supposed to depreciate for 7 years. So here you can see the way it's done. There's a kind of flag multiplication here. So if the year you're in is greater than or equal to the year you bought it, then you have started depreciating. We just need to add a second flag for stop depreciating, which is if you are, I think, less than that plus useful life. I may be off by 1. Let's quickly check. So now we get 7 years of depreciation. That's good. It totals 9464, which is matches that. Okay, good. So I think that is, let me just quickly check that we don't have any other row differences here. Go to special column differences, I mean. Oh, yeah, fine, just at the bottom. Yes. Okay. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't good. I must have not locked something I needed to. Yes, I did not lock something I needed to. So, sorry, just the thing that happened that made me realize something was wrong. Oh, I've undone it already, so you can't see, but when I copied that formula down, these all zeroed out. So obviously that was a red flag. So now I can try that again. And you can see that none of these values change, but then everything comes to an end, which is how it's supposed to be. Okay, so then what was the question? Closing accounting net book value, June 2030. It's right at the end, okay. So 6211.27, yes, C. All right, question 30. What are the, okay, so something's wrong with tax depreciation as well, 122 to 127. Sorry, calculations. Okay, well, this is a much smaller block, so it won't take long to find it. No row differences, good. Okay, so opening tax net book value starts at 0, fine, capital expenditure is pulling from F97, that's totally sensible. Tax depreciation, E91. And then that plus that minus that. That all seems reasonable to me. Oh dear, what am I missing? Oh, sorry, this is locked. That probably shouldn't be, so let's see, no, sorry. That's the diminishing value amount, and that is also reasonable. So let's see, we've got, it's a little weird with the signs, but yeah, 94 minus that is fine. Oh, hang on, wait, what? Ah, okay. So this is what's wrong. This 7571 is not pulling up here. You're pulling in the opening accounting net book value instead, which makes no sense at all. So let's fix that to point to here. Then we copy that across and everything flows through. So now this comes up here, this comes up here. Good. Okay, so now what was the question to answer? What is the total tax depreciation over the 15-year period? So sum of all these before 44304, which is A. Okay, next question. Not sure the correct signs were used when building out the operating and investing activities. Outputs 72 to 78. Answer this question based on the value. Okay, yeah, so this is just kind of re-emphasizing the same thing from earlier. I guess this is a question where, as you make other corrections later, this answer will change. So you have to lock in your answer at this point. Okay, so output 72 to 81, which is here. 72 to 81. Okay, and the suspicion is that the sign is wrong in something. So yeah, no issues there. So EBITDA, assume that's working fine. Change in working capital. That sign looks right, as we went from having nothing to having a bunch of working capital, and that costs money. Less taxes paid, that should be a negative. Let's just see, calculations F229. So yes, we made a profit, we paid tax, fine. So that should appropriately a negative. Interest paid received, calculations F210. Whoa, lots of different interest things going on here, but okay. So we're paying interest on a term loan. We're receiving interest on cash on hand. But okay, so that 360 is negative. Oh, okay, no, so that's wrong. This should be a negative. And then this year we receive a bunch of interest on our cash on hand, which is a little more than we pay on the term loan, so we end up with a positive cash from interest. Yes, okay, fine. So there might be something else. Let's just check the rest to be sure. Capital expense incurred. Well, CapEx is always a negative. So, okay, there is something else. Always lose cash when you spend it. Equity contribution, makes sense that would be positive. Distribution to shareholders, makes sense that would be negative. Term loan drawdown / repayment, F161. Here we are. So yes, here we're adding to the balance, so that's more cash, and that's the right sign there. Good. Revolver facility borrowings, F168. Okay, borrowings and repayments on separate lines. So yes, borrowing gets us more money, repayment gets us less money. Net cash flow from financing, net cash inflow, outflow, yes. Okay, good. So then what's the question? The total of operating and investing cash flows for June 2016. So here are our operating and here are our investing. Okay, fine. So sum, I don't need the sum to add two numbers together. This plus this. So 9428.79, which is there? F. Whoops, sorry, wrong one. F. All right, next question. Total interest in the term loan seems wrong. Calculations 183 to 202. 183 to 202. Lots of term loans. Okay, so, oh, yeah, phew. This is where I thought my row checks might be doing nothing for me, but I hit go there, and look, I've got a different formula for the last few years here for some reason than I have before that. So what is the difference? So here we've got the opening balance plus the drawdown times the interest rate, and here we've got, okay, it's pointing at a different one for some reason. All right, so that's definitely a mistake. Copy that across. And now, do I believe that that's the only mistake? Well, there's been a couple of times with multiple mistakes, so let's check for anything else. So I think it just said the interest is wrong. Okay, fine. So opening plus drawdown times interest, fine. Assumed drawdown happens at the start of the year, repayment at the end of the year. Yes, good. Yeah. Yes, all makes sense. I don't see any repayments happening here. So I guess it's just drawdowns. Oh, sorry, no, okay. The opening balance is adjusted for a repayment going on somewhere else. Fine. But, so that formula, I guess the simplest check would be 3875. If I paste the same formula in, it stays the same. If I paste the same formula in, 2640, that also stays the same. So good. So now what question do I need to answer? What is the total interest on the 3 term loans in the year ending June 28? June 28 is here. So that one plus that one. Oops, plus this one. 997, which is B. Okay, 3 more questions to go. Tax payable isn't quite calculated correctly. Calculation is 212 to 229. 212 to 229. Okay. So again, first thing I'm going to do is just look for row differences. That's fine. Profit and loss before tax comes from output F20. Let's quickly check that's the right place. Yes, it is. Income tax slash benefit, tax benefit slash expense, sorry, yes. So that times the tax rate seems appropriate. Adjustment for timing differences in depreciation. This is right way. So the profit loss before tax to arrive at taxable profit. Timing differences in depreciation. F118. Okay, so we're subtracting counting depreciation here, yes, tax depreciation here at 126. Yes, that's working fine. Timing difference. Ooh, now I'll have to pause and think whether I'm getting the timing difference the right way around. So, but anyway, okay, we'll think about timing difference sign in a minute. So, profit and loss with the adjustment, tax payable. Is that okay? So, what are we saying? We're saying depreciation for tax purposes is higher. That means that our actual yeah, so it is. It's this. The sign of this is wrong. So basically, if our tax depreciation for accounting purposes is higher, that means that more of our income should be protected from tax. So this adjusted profits before tax to figure out our true taxable income should not be higher, it should be lower. So we need to flip the sign here. So 25 minus 24. And then what's the question to answer? What is the figure for tax payable in June 29 under the base scenario? Link there and value there. 111192, which is F. Good. Okay, 34. Oh, there's no question 35. That's just upload your workbook. So fine. Drop that. That means we're almost done. Hooray. What is the total? Sorry, balance sheet doesn't balance. What is the total net assets in June 2030 under the base scenario? And we have a 40 cell range in which to find an error. Fabulous. All right. So again, first things first, I'm just going to start by looking at row differences. And then if that all checks out, I only need to audit 1 column. And I do only need to audit 1 column. I guess second thing I'm going to check is how far off are we? Because sometimes that's a hint. Like, is the difference growing or shrinking? That kind of thing. So, whoops, sorry. I'm used to having hidden all of this, but I have not. So let's just get the right bit. Okay, so difference is large. It's neither growing nor shrinking. It's kind of staying about the same size over time. So that's a little ambiguous. All right, so we got cash at bank, 28 plus 92, which is presumably change in cash. It is, so fine. Accounts receivable, calculations, 74, 78, and payable 84. Just quickly check those are coming from the right place. 74, 78, and 84. Yes. Coming in with the right signs, so that's fine. Plant and equipment. Now, hang on. First things first. Plant and equipment here is exactly what our balance is off by. So that's interesting. Something not being... Oh, yeah, okay. Well, there's your first thing. This is being double summed. So just this plus this instead of... So here you're summing the total here, and the sub-components there. Is that it? Nope. Sorry, wait. Yeah. Yes, it is. Oh. Nope, we still have some balance issue further out. Okay, so well, let's keep looking for basics for now. So revolve, sorry, where did I got to? I got to here, here. So that's coming from F120, which is the accounting net book value. That's what we want, yes. Deferred tax assets, F238. Fine. Okay, let's just check all the other sums are working. That is working. That is working, yes. That's working. That's working. That's working. Okay. So what? Oh, okay. Maybe something just hadn't finished calculating because now it does seem like it's balancing every period. Okay. Happy days. All right. So what's the question? Total net assets June 2030 under the base scenario. Net assets June 2030. 8085.99. That's an F. Okay, cool. So I ran a little long on my video on Monday. I've kind of caught up some time today because I think this one was a 35 minute question. All right, so I've made a little time back today, and I'll try and be back on schedule for Purple City on Friday. That's all I got for today. Thanks for watching.